Good afternoon. Welcome to episode 33 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful, warm, and sunny confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be listening or watching today, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Today, we're going to touch on some NBA and NFL news and notes. I kind of gave you guys a couple of days because, slow news cycle. The Western Conference Finals was over pretty quick. Check. I'll have an episode touching on that. We're waiting for the finals. NFL kind of like OTAs is going on. NBA kind of free agency, pre-draft news kind of going on. So, kind of want to touch on that. Some head coaching movement, a lot of things. So I kind of let the information and data kind of collect for a couple of days before I drop the episode. So I do apologize for anybody who was wondering, like, well, how come you ain't heard from me in a day or two? That's why I just want to make sure I gave, enough days to build some content up to give you guys the content you look for when you're watching the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. Because as always, we're blunt about this shit. We're upfront. We talk about it and we're going to address it. And hopping right into it, starting off this episode, we're going to go into Ty Lue signing his extension with the Los Angeles Clippers. This news came down last week. It wasn't a fucking shock. I mean, everybody knew if they had let go of Ty Lue, they were really going to be up Schitt's Creek. They're opening up a new stadium next year. So them getting Ty Lue was more or less a pipe dream. I don't think anybody in their right mind thought that was going to happen. But nonetheless, Ty Lue resigned. The question that I pose and that I want you guys to think about is, what does this mean for the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, indications look pretty strong that JJ Redick's going to probably be the new coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. It seems like that's what, people are saying LeBron wants. I'm pretty sure that's what LeBron wants. Pretty sure that's what some people in the organization want. That being said, looking at the staff that he's assembling, and it's quite a cast of names here. Sam Cassell, who's currently the Boston Celtics assistant head coach on the Mike Mazzulla staff. James Borrego, well-touted assistant coach for the New Orleans Pelicans. Scott Brooks, former Oklahoma City coach and Orlando Magic coach, and former longtime backup player Jared Dudley. So these are some of the names that's being floated around to be on the coaching staff. I'm pretty sure there's more names that he's going to look into, but honestly, listening to some of the former NBA vets and listening to some old heads in the game who more or less were speaking on this subject and talking about the chances or the prospects of JJ being a great coach, I'll be quite honest with you. You got to give it a shot. If you're the Lakers, you don't really have a fucking option. I mean, let's really be real. Most of those guys that are on the list of coaching prospects, and it was a long list. I didn't even want to bore you because half of you, I guarantee you don't even know who the fuck these people are. It's just mostly retreads. And I mean, hell, there's talking about Mike Budenholzer getting a job at Phoenix. It's just more of the same. So, it seems like, this is something new. This is a splash in a different direction for them. Got to give the Lakers credit. They're trying. That being said, it remains to be seen how this will come to fruition. But I pose that question, though. What does this mean for them? Because if JJ Redick ain't the answer, I would be interested to know, because as the much research and vetting that they've done to get him in this position, I highly doubt that they go in a different direction. It seems pretty clear that JJ is the guy. And like I said, we'll see when the season comes and, when all that comes to fruition, how that all comes about. Next was one that really, really caught my ear that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oklahoma City GM Sam Presti, who, excuse me, highly touted, well-respected GM, known in the NBA circles for, building that original Oklahoma City roster with KD, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Nick Collison, Thabo Sefolosha, the names go on. Nonetheless, though, Sam Presti said something that was quite interesting. He spoke on a couple of things that happened throughout the season. We all know the Thunder seasons ended in the second round. They had hopes of making the conference finals. Obviously, we know Luka and Kyrie put the kibosh to that shit. But nonetheless, Sam Presti was speaking on some moves that he made and moves that he made that didn't work out. One of the big moves that he made that didn't work out was actually a move I ain't gonna lie to you that I forgot about, was Gordon Hayward going to Oklahoma City. That was supposed to be a big addition for the team. That was supposed to be something that was going to help improve the roster, help put the team in a better position. And it just flat out didn't work. It was a bust. It was a horrible move. That being said, Sam Presti stated that he missed on this trade and that he, quote, "that's on me." And I'll read you the full quote here because I have it here for you. But I missed on that. That's on me. But I'm learning. I'm trying to learn this team. I'm trying to learn the pace of the team a little bit and trying to be a great observer of the team as it's going through its paces, knowing that it's really going to change on its own in itself. end quote. Sam Presti, basically, I think nobody's going to really bat an eye that he tried to give Gordon Hayward a chance and it didn't work. No one's going to sit there and be like, oh my God, what the fuck? No, I mean, you get it. Some of these moves don't work. Gordon Hayward, he's more likely past his prime. Since that injury he suffered a couple years ago in Boston, he hasn't really been the same player. And so ultimately now they had to go in a different direction. I think though, when you look at free agency though, they have a chance to really add in this spot and really make their team better. And what exactly do I mean? Let me expand. The type of vets that I think that they can go after that can help their shooting that's on free agency this year, potential candidates. One is Gary Trent Jr., one of my personal betting favorites on FanDuel. That guy won me a lot of money, definitely hitting three-point shots. So Gary Trent Jr. would be a decent pickup for him. Mo Bamba, Buddy Hield, formerly of Sacramento, Indiana, and the Philadelphia 76ers. And also Haywood Highsmith, forward for the Miami Heat. So if you pay attention to that, there's three-point shooting in there, there's spacing. They're looking for a guy that can create space on the floor and create his own shot so that can free up SGA and Giddey and all these other guys. Because Giddey just didn't really hit his potential this year. And I think the team really realizes they have a chance to contend and they can't really afford to wait for Giddey to hit that spot. Which again, you understand because you win that many games and you weren't, it was just a couple years ago, you were one of the worst teams in the league. Expectations change. And as I said, Presti said, this team will change many times again. The key piece being SGA. That being said, I think Gary Trent Jr. or Buddy Hield will probably be a good acquisition for him. But keep an eye on them with Klay Thompson. I don't think they're out of the running for that either. Finishing up on some NBA news, something that I definitely wanted to talk about that I've been talking about with some of my friends and colleagues, and a couple of my constituents in length and at depth about. Rumors are intensifying that Paul George is going to the 76ers. Now, I caution that these rumors, and they are rumors currently at this moment, that the rumors also intensified over this past weekend that LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, and Brandon Ingram are also in the eye of the Sixers. I've done some deep research on this. I've done, hours of just reading different articles and sourcing. I'm going to be quite honest with you. We've covered the LeBron topic, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Just by stating, simply put, I think that's the best option for him. If you're looking for a win now veteran who could come in and help you and, help your team. Jimmy Butler, guy who should have never left Philadelphia, him coming back, I can see that, but you would have to give up a lot of capital and you probably would have to give up one of those picks that you're going to probably need within 2 years. Don't really want to do that. And Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, to me, is the most interesting one. Though I'll admit, reading around, I didn't see anything concretely linked to him in the Sixers. But the fact that the rumor is out there, I think the Sixers have to investigate this. I mean, these, in my personal opinion, LeBron, Jimmy Buckets, and B.I., they're all better options than PG-13. I mean, if you get Paul George, I mean, make no mistake, is Paul George better than Tobias Harris? Abso-fucking-lutely. Is he still stealing money? Yes. He's just a lesser thief. Instead of him actually robbing the bank at gunpoint, he just steals a few checks and pockets the money out the drawer. Either way, Paul George is fucking mediocre. He's not the guy that he once was. The potential, the hype, pre-injury, after the injury, no excuse. He's just not the guy that we expect him to be. And if you're Philadelphia, you make this move and you sign this guy, you give him big money because you're going to form a big three of him, Maxey, and Embiid, you're fucking fooling yourself. And you're going to not get to where you want to be. You'll be knocked out in the second round. So, remains to be seen, but I think that it's going to be very interesting how the Sixers address that because, again, I've stated on this show countless times, LeBron would be the move, but let's just say LeBron don't even want to go there. Jimmy Butler, B.I. You cannot look your fan base in the face. And I know a lot of Sixers fans in this area, being in the tri-state area, I know a lot of Sixers fans is like, oh, it's okay if Paul George, they won't be saying that shit by the first round of the playoffs. I guarantee you. If we think Ben Simmons got ran the fuck out of Philly, watch what will happen if Paul George does what the fuck he's been doing for the Clippers. It'll get horrific for his ass quick. It'll go from PG-13 to rated R very quickly. Very quickly. Going now into my NFL news and notes on this subject, we're going to hop on those Dallas Cowboys, those good old Dallas Cowboys. Yes, and Coach Mike McCarthy and his comments about Micah Parsons not coming to OTAs and how that affects him and the team. That being said, Mike McCarthy's comments, while he was sitting there, he had a bit of a press conference and he was going back and forth about guys that's there and, just guys improving and, having a lot of young guys having to step up, and I'm excited to see these guys playing these roles. So the question then was formulated to him about how he feels about Micah not attending. Mike McCarthy then quoted and said that he had not missed anything regarding OTAs, but he had walked back these comments because these are all comments that he said about a week or two ago. If you guys have been following, he said a week or two ago that Micah had not missed anything and it was okay. However, a week ago, he said this: I think anytime that you have a chance to be together, it's an opportunity to improve. Whether it's in the mental realm, the physical realm, and the emotional connection and so forth. It is a long year. Training camp is really the heightened focus for all of that, but it's definitely an opportunity that's been missed. You know what also is an opportunity that's been missed, Mike McCarthy? The fact that this man hasn't been paid yet. The fact that you know damn good and well that your ass is getting fired after this year because you're not going to meet expectations. I'm sorry to say this to people. I'm no fucking oracle. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm very certain to say if the Dallas Cowboys were winning 12 games and couldn't advance beyond the second round with a good team, this team that they have presently constructed, it's a lame duck season for Mike McCarthy. So I get it. You want your guys in there. You want them in there flowing, leadership, camaraderie. Pay the fucking man, Jerry. And maybe Mike McCarthy could have that. But Mike, don't worry. You and Mike Zimmer are only there for a year. So Jerry's telling you what he thinks of this team and you all this year. So need not worry, Mike. You could worry about OTAs and not showing up in a year's time. You won't have to worry about none of this shit because you won't be the coach. Furthermore, on some further NFC East team news, we're going to get into Darius Slayton receiving his $650,000, kind of an incentive added to his $1.5 million in incentives within his contract. We all know, as I reported previously on a previous episode, Darius Slayton has stated that he had wanted to sit out because he hadn't received the new contract that he was vying for, and that there was communication and dialogue. And this is very similar and reminiscent of what the Giants did with Saquon Barkley a year ago, giving, padding the incentives or padding something, a low bar, probably a workout bonus. More likely, if you're talking about $650,000, it's probably a workout bonus, something like that. So that way he could reach that incentive and put a little extra money in his pocket, make him feel better. This is a big season for all those Giants wide receivers. They're letting it be known. With Malik Neighbors and Jaylen Hyatt there, they don't really expect Darius Slayton to step up. If he does step up, he'll be good. I think Darius Slayton is a good 3, but he'll probably be out of there too after this year. I mean, after they grab Malik Neighbors, they pretty much, the writing's on the wall. Giants wide receivers that have been here previously, your time's up. Leading next into that, I would definitely want to touch on Jaylen Waddle because all the wide receivers have been getting their money. You'll be seeing me touch on in another episode Justin Jefferson's contract. But Jaylen Waddle also received his deal, 3 years, $84 million. And I want to be succinct when I say this: 3 years, $84.75 million. Signing bonus, so I broke down the numbers of the contract because, all that shit's fluff and fluff. I like to give the exact details. Signing bonus is $18 million. In 2024, his base salary pretty much would be 1.5 or $1.055 million, which is essentially $1 million for the year. That's pretty much the last year of his rookie deal. Last little bonus he had. 2025 is he'll be making $16 million fully guaranteed, and that's when the new money kicks in 2026. It's a great deal for Jaylen Waddle. He's been a good young player. He's been injured a lot, so it's kind of not shocking, but kind of a phew for his ass because he got his money. But nonetheless, he deserved it, and it's great to see him get it. Now we'll see if they pay Tyreek. We all know Tyreek Hill has been unhappy about his contract. We all know Tyreek Hill has been searching for his contract, so we'll see how that works out. But interesting to see. And you know what? Instead of waiting on another episode, we'll touch on, again, the wide receivers getting their money. I have the numbers here, too, for Justin Jefferson. He finally got his payday, 4 years, $140 million. His extension was coming, we all know. Kind of shocked that, the numbers weren't as high as they were, quote-unquote, projected to be. But he's going to make $110 million guaranteed at signing, so that's fantastic. He's going to take that off the rip. On a per year average, based off the 5 years, doing the math, it's 31.94 million. So essentially almost 32 million. Great deal for Justin Jefferson. Puts him over AJ Brown. Puts him in number one as far as pay scale for wide receivers. Like I said, we all knew this at a point this was coming. It's not a shock here. The news, though, that I thought that was big news was there were rumors, and I've read this on The Athletic, and I've read this on Pro Football Talk, and I've also searched on Bleacher Report. So anybody that wants to tell me I'm a fucking liar, you can call them fucking liars too. But the rumors have been confirmed that this deal did not develop during the draft because the Vikings more or less were playing wait and see, for lack of better words, to see how the market would develop and how things might possibly develop if they were offering Justin Jefferson. I can tell you for a fact, as I've read this and it's been sourced, they definitely were offered 2 first-round picks for Justin Jefferson. They didn't take it. They were offered a lot more for him. They didn't take it. And understandably so. I never would have had him on the block, period. But I guess being in the front office, that's why I'm not a GM. You have to do your due diligence. You have to see what you can get for guys. And again, it's a great move for the Vikings. They get to keep a guy in there. Now, I think what is interesting of note, though, the guy that Minnesota had their eyes on during the draft was Malik Neighbors. So very interesting to see how that all played out. But more interesting than not, 2 little tidbits. We have to watch in 3 years how this contract develops, because if Justin Jefferson stays at the level that he's been playing at, he'll be back at the table within 2 or 3 years. But if Minnesota feels like he hasn't really reached the potential, I highly doubt he gets another big contract or an extension. So remains to be seen. But it's Jamar Chase time now. Jamar Chase is definitely about to get that check now. I think it's fairly fucking evident now. He's getting paid. He's going to be due big money. And I just want to end this episode, last but not least, with Cowboys legend Larry Allen passed away yesterday at the age of 52. In some circles, he was called a gentle giant. As a kid, as an Eagles fan, I hated him because God knows he was mashing up my team's defensive lineman, opening up holes for Emmitt Smith, creating lanes to help those guys run to more playoff victories and championships. But just want to say rest in peace, Larry Allen. It was a pleasure watching you play, even though you were a Cowboy, but nonetheless, great player, Hall of Famer. Sad to see him go. Young too, 52, still young. So rest in peace to Larry Allen, and condolences to his family. But that will be it for episode 33 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And damn, I almost forgot, guys, real quick. I just created a Substack. You will be seeing the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast on Substack. Links will be provided within the next couple episodes. You'll be seeing that down in the description. We're on Substack. Within the next couple of days, you'll be seeing our episodes now also featured on Apple Podcasts. There will be a paid subscription on Apple Podcasts. There will be a paid subscription on Substack. On Substack, it's more or less just me writing articles about certain things pertaining to the Eagles. That on Substack will be primarily dedicated to the Eagles. I'll strictly be writing on that. Things I think about the team, things I think that need to be addressed, historical news and footnotes that I think haven't really been touched on that I think, people need to talk about or address more. So that would be very exciting. Getting on my literary game, my writing game on that part. The show is definitely expanding, and it's been all through the help of you guys. And like I said, as always, continue to show love and support. I love you guys. Thank you as always. Take care and be safe out there.